水生好. Today we're going to go over lesson 1, which is called 你好, which means hello, of course. 你好, you guys know that from class. There we go. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the pronouns. Pronouns are people. Pronouns, if you don't know what they are, it's not a big deal, like the I, you, he. So we have 我, which means I. 你, which means you. And 他, which means he, she, and it. And this is why Chinese is so easy. These pronouns are actually also the objects. So I and me are both 我. You and you. He, she, and it is the same thing as him, her, or it. So it's pretty easy. 我, 你, 他. Moving on, let's talk about sentence structure. So sentence structure in Chinese is also really not that bad. So here's a little sentence for you. 我是水生. 我是水生. 我是水生 means I am a student. And you guys, I know, have been looking at the vocab, so you guys know those words. And so what are these parts of speech here? Well, 我, of course, is the subject, I. And what comes after the subject? 是, which is the verb to be. So we have the verb. And then finally, 水生, the object. So we have the subject, verb, object. And that's really how every Chinese sentence works, which is really a lot like English. I am a student. It's really the same order here, so nothing crazy. Okay, so let's take a look at these sentences. We have 我是水生, which we had on the last page, so we just did that. And then we have a couple new sentences here. We have 我不是水生, 我也是水生. So 也 is an adverb, and 不 is a negation. And both are going to go right before the verb. So in both cases, we can add those right before the verb, regardless of what the verb is. Now, can we change this around? Of course. Instead of 我, we could put 他. Instead of 我, here we could put 你. 他不是水生. He or she is not a student. 你也是水生. You are also a student. Or 我是水生. I am a student. And we'll play with these tomorrow. So again, this is the basic sentence structure. We have the subject plus the verb plus the object. Moving on. These are some sentences. So we have periods here. Period, period, period. Now, how about some simple yes or no questions in Mandarin? To do a simple yes or no question, we're going to add ma on the end. So all you do is add a ma onto the sentence, and you'll have a question. For example, 你是水生 means you are a student. But if I delete the period and add ma, it becomes a question. 你是水生吗? Just by adding that ma, it changes it from you are a student to are you a student? The question. Awesome. So let's take a look at this next slide here. Here's the question I just had. 你是水生吗? 你是水生, period. 你是水生吗? That's a question. So how would you answer this question? 你是水生吗? Well, it's actually as easy as you think it is. First, you're going to change the 你 to 我 because you're answering the question, right? If I ask you a question, you answer with I. It's going to be 我是水生. Awesome. And what if you weren't a student? How would you answer that? So this is the positive answer. What about the negative answer? No. Well, if we remember what we did a second ago with 不, we're going to just do that right here. So it's going to be 我 不是水生. And that's it. So here we have a couple questions here. I have two questions right here. 你是老师吗? And 你是学生吗? I also have two sentences that are scrambled up. 不是他老师, that makes no sense. And 张老师学生不是, that also makes no sense. So in a second I'm going to ask you pause the video. And when you pause the video, please take a minute or two to answer questions number 1 and 2 and to unscramble sentences 3 and 4 so they make sense. So go ahead and pause the video now and do that. Awesome, welcome back guys. So let's take a look at what you guys did. So for the question, both of them are going to be 我 because you're answering with 你. So I'm asking you and you're going to answer with 我. So 我不是老师. Assuming you guys watching this video are all the Mandarin 1 students, you guys are not teachers, so it should be 我不是老师. The second one, 你是学生吗? I think, if I'm right, all of you guys are students, so the answer should be 我是学生. And these should have periods at the end because they're both statements, not questions. Moving down, how about these sentences? How'd you guys do with these? 不是他老师. It should be 他不是老师. So we have the subject, the verb, and the object. And then we add the negation right in there because we're negating the verb, not to not be. It's not is a teacher, it's not a teacher. And how about this one? 张老师学生不是. It should be 张老师不是学生. So 张老师 is Mr. Zhang or Teacher Zhang. 不是学生. Teacher Zhang is not a student. Awesome. That's all I have for you guys. I will see you tomorrow. Make sure you write down any questions on the bottom of your paper so I can answer them at the beginning of class. 再见.